All right. So, in the spirit of Halloween, I'm not going over all my movies today or anything like that, but I just have a couple of suggestions for anybody who's looking for something for Halloween night to watch on this day. And these are just a couple out of my personal collection. I have several different horror films, but I think these are some great picks. At the top here, we have John Carpenter's The Thing. This is the new 4K. Absolutely love this film. It's probably one of my absolute favorite of John Carpenter's. Next, we have Event Horizon. Also, the 4K. Love this film. I don't know why this never got the appreciation that it deserved. Kind of like John Carpenter's stuff. I think that Wes Anderson actually did really good on this one, and Mortal Kombat too. I think it just doesn't get as much praise, but that's the next one. Again, another John Carpenter classic, In the Mouth of Madness with Sam Neill. Classic film in my eyes. Just a great Lovecraftian horror that has a little bit of a mind, messes with your mind a little bit with the story and the idea of it. And we have Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn. Just a fun, action-y vampire film, but the thing I really love about Dusk Till Dawn is it's not a film that you go into it even knowing that it is a vampire film. It actually kind of starts out a bit slow and it builds up until this really great special effects climax and a lot of death and a lot of gore, and it's just again another fun film. I think it's great for Halloween. This is not the original Night of the Living Dead. This is Tom Savini's remake of Night of the Living Dead. I think this is an underappreciated gem. I think that this is actually the better adaptation in my eyes of Night of the Living Dead. Tom Savini was supposed to be the director of photography for the original classic, but he ended up getting sent to Vietnam, and that's why he was actually hired to do this one for Night of the Living Dead. And I think Tom Savini does some really great effects. Funny enough, he's also in From Dusk Till Dawn. And we have The Frighteners. I wouldn't call it so much a horror, but you do have ghost in this, obviously. And I think this is a great classic now, actually, of Peter Jackson's. Way before the whole thing with Lord of the Rings and everything. But this is the movie that really got him started with the special effects team, Weta Studios. This is where it all started, was actually with Frighteners. So there's some really cool special effects, especially for the time. I think it's actually a fun story. It's a little bit scary, but a little bit funny. And that's the kind of stuff I actually really enjoy when you can do that just right. Kind of like Ghostbusters, which I also have. But Frighteners, another great one for Halloween. Another classic, we have Evil Dead, the original. This one I definitely see is more of the scary one, where Evil Dead 2 would definitely go under more of a comedy element than horror, even though they both have kind of both of those. But Evil Dead leans definitely more towards the horror side. There's actually some really gory and some very horrific things that actually happened in the original, but Sam Raimi just did great in this classic, and it just keeps getting better and better. And this may not be the 4K or anything, but this is just a regular DVD. And then last but not least, we have another John Carpenter's classic in my eyes, underrated, underappreciated, starring James Woods. You have Vampires. And this film has a particular place in my heart, being that it was filmed in New Mexico, which is where I grew up in Las Cruces. And this is just, I thought this was a really good and creative idea that had never been seen before. I still have never seen another vampire film that even comes close to this. And it's kind of like they've totally turned away from vampires being these scary type of creatures that are just, well, I mean, they're just creatures that suck on blood. So, yep, there's a couple of films for your Halloween suggestion: Vampires, Evil Dead, The Frighteners, Night of the Living Dead, From Dusk Till Dawn, In the Mouth of Madness, Event Horizon. Love that cover, by the way. If anything, that 4K just makes that so much worth it. The Thing. And just as a bonus for anybody who's watching, this is not a horror, but in honor of this being the 30th anniversary, I think it is, and also to kind of put an FU to that new remake, The Crow. Alex Proyas knocks it out of the park with this, constantly showing it was an underappreciated gem of the 90s, a major staple of my growing up, major staple of the music that I've listened to for most of my life. I still listen to these bands that are all, I absolutely love this movie. I would probably watch it 1,000 times over. If you don't think this is Halloween, what do you think Devil's Night is? That's what they celebrate, and that is the very night that The Crow comes out and seeks the revenge. In such a powerful story that is so personal from the writer of this, James O'Barr. And I will never watch that remake because it will never hold a candle in my eyes to this absolute classic with a underrated actor. And this is the film that I will always constantly look at, that if you don't think that Brandon Lee can actually act, go and look at the scenes in this movie that are not where he's doing all the action and stuff like that, but when he's having the interactions where he's just talking to people, like the little girl, like the police officer. Even one of the emotional moments still to this day to me is when he's on the street and all those kids are like trick-or-treating, and he goes from just looking very beaten, disheveled, to elated and happy as soon as that light just kind of shines on his face. And without saying a word, it's a powerful movie moment that I think is going to stand the test of time for decades to come. So yes, an absolutely underappreciated film that I think needs to be mentioned for the added on this Halloween. So thanks for checking out this video. If you do like this, please leave me a comment. Let me know if you guys actually really want to see me do any of this stuff, because I don't care if YouTube ever monetizes me. I don't care if I ever become a major YouTuber. That's not why I'm doing this. I love films since I was a kid. Great way for me to escape since I was a child, growing up very poor, and just watching videos on videotapes, sometimes borrowing them from neighbors. A lot of these horror films I got introduced from friends in high school and stuff. Like Evil Dead, I didn't even know about until Army of Darkness had already even come out. And then a buddy of mine told me about it. He was like, oh yeah, you know, there's 2 other films that came before that. And I'm like, really? He's like, oh yeah, Evil Dead. I was like, wow. So yeah, just a couple of really good suggestions here. Please just give me a comment if you guys actually like this. A little shout out to Chase from AVA Pop Culture. I know that we've been discussing some of the films that you absolutely like, that we end up sharing a lot in common. Even our age, we seem to share very much in common. So just a shout out to him. I think what he's doing is great over there. And I just want to appreciate anybody who checks this out. And you all have a wonderful, safe, and Halloween. And have a great day. Thanks for watching.